Hi, my name is Kim Pineda. This is my persuasive speech. The title of my speech is PSA, Don't Hit Your Kids. Unfortunately, something like spanking and physical forms of discipline have been heavily normalized throughout our society, and it's actually quite concerning that there are plenty of parents today who see spanking as the only way to get their children to listen and behave. Hitting kids has actually little to no beneficial effect, but it does cause psychological and emotional trauma in children, worsening over time. Hi, my name is Kim Pineda. This is my persuasive speech. The title of my speech is PSA, Don't Hit Your Kids. Unfortunately, something like spanking has been heavily normalized throughout our society, and it's actually quite concerning that there are plenty of parents who see spanking as the only way to get their children to listen and behave. Hitting kids has not only little to no beneficial effect, but it causes psychological and emotional trauma in children, worsening their behavior and mental health over time. In an article published by NBCNews.com, it goes over these three basic ideas. One is that there is no benefit from spanking and actually worsens a child's mental health. Two, verbal abuse and humiliation is counterproductive. And three, we can give our children more positive role models, meaning that we can do better. Dating as far back as ancient Egypt, the practice of spanking your children and other forms of corporal punishment have been heavily normalized throughout the years, and the idea of spanking your child in means to put them in line and get them to be controlled has caused a massive increase in children and adolescents to develop internal mental issues that have worsened over time. While it is a controversial topic whether or not parents should hit their kids, it has been discovered that physical punishment, which is means of causing pain, can lead to an increased aggression, antisocial behavior, and mental problems in children. Brennan L. Smith, a writer for APA.org, discusses the issues of parents getting too overwhelmed and frustrated with their children and feel like they have no other option but to physically discipline them at that exact moment. Some parents don't realize that you can't just punish out bad behaviors that you don't like or don't want. When talking about methods and ideas that were once considered okay, the article states that leaving behind the practice of spanking children is not the same as leaving behind an effective method. Rather, it's realizing that spanking is horrible and simply just doesn't work. Another long-term issue and result of hitting kids as a form of discipline, amongst many others, is that it teaches kids that being bigger and stronger makes things right, and you can get others who are smaller and weaker than you to do what you want them to do by hurting them. Hence, problems like bullying and anger issues start to arise. PsychologyToday.com mentions how the lack of self-control in parents, when viewed by children, can cause them to associate anger and violence with problem solving. Often people tend to believe that because they themselves are raised a certain way, that their children, or everyone for that matter, should be raised the exact same way as well. This leads to parents practicing the same toxic and immoral methods that they may have been considered okay at some point in time when they were growing up. It has been noted that the main and most common cause of parents spanking their children is to put an immediate stop to bad behavior. Bookings.edu states that in 2012, American parents were asked their opinions on spanking. 70% responded by agreeing that it is sometimes acceptable to discipline a child with a, quote, good hard spanking. Another common reason that causes parents to be okay with hitting their children is the false belief of children being spoiled or ill-mannered if they are not disciplined. As discussed in the article, Why Some Parents Spank Their Kids by Catherine Lee, spanking works in a very ineffective way. Yes, the child can immediately become compliant, however, they don't actually know what they did wrong or what they need to improve on. As time passes and things change, we as a society learn together what issues we need to work on and what other mistakes we shouldn't make again. Although some may disagree and consider other older, outdated methods to be correct, there's always something else to learn about that might change the way that you think and look at things. A certified parenting educator, Gowanowicz, Claire Gowanowicz, shared a personal story about her child who usually had a hard time falling asleep, and once looked her in the eye and said, "Mommy, don't hit me," after she had lightly spanked her child for tossing and turning a little more than usual. She vowed to never do any such thing again like that after, and has helped others understand what parents need to focus and work on in order to be better caretakers for their young. Although it may be a challenge for some to contain themselves and be much more patient than they already are, the first step to disciplining your kids without hitting them is by controlling your own anger. Another article posted by verywellfamily.com provides a list of alternative disciplinary strategies that should be attempted or adopted instead of any other forms of corporal punishment. After all, there are plenty of other things to try before laying a hand on a child should ever even be considered. Things like timeouts, losing privileges like TV, teaching new skills like behavioral skills like problem solving, or even how to calm down when you're upset, logical consequences that tie into your bad tie into their bad behavior. And rewarding and praising good behavior are all things to try for the sake of the child. The main goal of teaching your children discipline is not through submission, but through cooperation. Not only will that benefit the child's mental health, but it'll also strengthen the bond between parent and child. The act of physically punishing children has been widely normalized throughout our history, and throughout the years, it has been discovered that hitting children has plenty of negative long-term effects that are often ignored and justified to be discipline. It's actually crucial for today's generation and those to come to learn from the past mistakes of others and aim to better themselves and the future so that they can truly be the caretaker, giver, friend, and parent of their children.